what's going on, guys? It's the Arizona sports fan. Thank you so very much for coming back. I really do appreciate it. Now, today, what I want to go ahead and talk about is there's 4 days away from the NFL draft actually happening. Now, some quick announcements here. We are going to be having a virtual draft party here at the Arizona Sports Fan YouTube channel. We will be meeting 1 hour before the draft starts just to go ahead and have some conversation, pump ourselves up, and really get excited for the NFL draft. Who you think the Arizona Cardinals are going to pick 8th overall, who I think the Arizona Cardinals are going to pick 8th overall, and basically laughing at the picks that are getting picked before us, and just kind of having a good time along the way. And now that we got that out of the way, what I wanted to talk about is in this draft, I feel like the Arizona Cardinals being at the 8th overall spot is in a really good position. We can go anywhere between getting the best tackle available. We can get the best wide receiver available. There's even some mock drafts out there saying that Isaiah Simmons can fall back to the number 8 spot, which Isaiah Simmons is a generational talent. I really hope that the Arizona Cardinals could consider picking Isaiah Simmons up. Even mock drafts out there saying that Jeff Okudah might even fall that far back as well. So it's super crazy right now. Obviously, I don't really listen too much to the mock drafts. Nobody really knows who they're going to pick unless you're sitting at the number 1, the number 2 spot, because usually Joe Burrow, I know he's going to go number 1. Number 2 has to be Chase Young. But after the 3rd spot, there's rumors that the Lions might even trade out of their pick. Whether it's going to be the Miami Dolphins or the LA Chargers. Now, what I really wanted to talk about in this video here is I wanted to kind of get in the mind of Steve Keim. Now, obviously, Steve Keim went ahead and made an interview for all the media people that was out there that had some questions before the draft day. Now, obviously, this is something he has to do as a general manager. Most general managers are doing it as well. So there was some points that I wanted to go ahead and take away from his interview, and this is what I wanted to go ahead and say. Now, there are 3 main points that I wanted to go ahead and talk about today about Steve Keim's interview and how I took it. Point number 1 is going to be anything talked before the draft meant to go ahead and put up smoke screens to go ahead and see if we get some leverage for any other teams. So anything that Steve Keim has said, I don't really take it too personal. I don't really go ahead and take it too much. I've been an Arizona Cardinal fan for quite some time, and I feel like every interview before the draft is pretty much the same. Kind of talking in riddles, kind of talking very vaguely, kind of talking like, trying to give you a story to kind of poke at. So honestly, anything that Steve Keim has really said, I don't really take it too much to the grain of salt. But there was a couple different things that I wanted to go ahead and mention here to the point of, can we possibly trade back or can we possibly trade up? Let's take a look at the option to trade up. Right now, I feel like the Arizona Cardinals are in no position to go ahead and trade up to see if they can get a talent. Now, I would love to go ahead and trade up to get Isaiah Simmons. I would love to go ahead and trade up to get Chase Young. I completely understand that. But right now, we do not have the draft capital. Right now, we still have so many different holes, and building our young roster is going ahead and just helping us within the NFL draft. So if we give up a lot of picks and maybe even some future picks for next year to go ahead and trade up, I just do not see that happening unless, anything can change in the NFL draft. I'm not trying to be here and act like I know it all. I honestly don't. I've been, slapped in the face multiple different times and saying, hey, they're not going to pick up Kyler Murray. They're going to stick with Josh Rosen. But as far as trading up, I do not think that that's going to happen. I feel it in my bones. I think it's going to happen. I think it's more of a smokescreen. I think what Steve Keim is trying to do is he's trying to kind of get in the minds of other general managers and kind of saying, hey, right now at the 8th overall spot, our minds are anywhere. We can go tackle. We can go wide receiver. We can go inside linebacker. We can go defensive line. There's just so many different spots we can go in this position. Now, right now, Cliff Kingsbury has made a point saying that he felt like Steve Keim has done a really good job this offseason plugging in all the holes that we need to go ahead and fill up for this team. Is that the situation? Yeah, I agree that Steve Keim did a really good job, but I think what put him over the great job, really saved his job just in entirety, is going to be that trade for DeAndre Hopkins. Because if you really look at the other players that were chosen, whether it's Kennard, Campbell, Phillips, what have you, you really wouldn't see that as a great offseason if we didn't go ahead and get DeAndre Hopkins. As of right now, I really do feel like in my bones that Steve Keim is really just kind of, trying to play in smoke screens, which is, really smart on his behalf. Has it bit him in the butt, on earlier drafts? Yes, it definitely has. But as of right now, he loves playing these games, and he's going to continue to do that as long as he stays the general manager for the Arizona Cardinals. But now, trading back is definitely something that can happen for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, there's so many different teams out there that, it really depends on how the chips fall. If there's a really good player out there that a team really values over the Arizona Cardinals, if it's going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars, maybe they're going quarterback, Las Vegas Raiders out there. Some might even say the Colts are in a position to go ahead and trade up. Just really depends if there's a player there that they fear that's going to be taken by the Arizona Cardinals or teams that, are before them in the draft order. Somebody asked me, who do you think that we can definitely trade back with? There's a lot of different teams in my mind. I would not move past the 15th pick. It makes no sense to me personally. Anything above the 15, I feel like if we're not getting a first overall pick to kind of compensate or back we're going, it just makes no sense to me at all. There's definitely some teams out there. I would say the Las Vegas Raiders. I would say the Falcons. There's rumors out there, although they're sitting, I think, at number 16. I heard they want to trade up. And the Broncos maybe wanted to get a number 1 wide receiver. There's just a lot of different teams with different scenarios out there that can happen. Options are out there for the Arizona Cardinals. Really puts us in a great position to go ahead and trade back. Now, like I mentioned before, acquiring a second round pick is definitely crucial for the Arizona Cardinals. I want them to go offensive line in that second pick if we end up trading back. There's no doubt in my mind. Let's get a great positional piece in the first round, whether it's going to be a defensive piece, wide receiver, what have you, whatever the Arizona Cardinals feel like is best for them. I think it's very crucial to go offensive tackle in that second round. So that would be the main benefit to trading back for the Arizona Cardinals. Go ahead and get a piece for their offensive line, which I do feel like still needs some depth because we do have some injury-prone offensive tackles out there. It's going to be, your DJ Humphries or even your Marcus Gilbert. The last point, I wanted to go ahead and talk about what Steve Keim, when he said that Kyler Murray was vouching for a lot of different players, which seemed to be a lot of offensive players. I mean, obviously he's a quarterback. He wants players to make him better as his, position grows within the NFL. Kai mentioned something along the lines that he really didn't vouch for a lot of defensive players. I don't know if that's real. I don't know that smokescreen, whatever the situation is. I like that Steve Keim said that he really doesn't take a lot into what your future quarterback has to say. I think that's the wrong approach. If that's wrong and he's just throwing smokescreens, then that's cool. Perfect. You fooled me. Absolutely. Good job, Steve Keim. But honestly, if that's the way his mentality is, I think that's the wrong way to approach things. A lot of times in the NFL, I feel like whether it's head coaches, general managers, whoever's are in these positions, I feel like they're kind of in a power trip. It's either their way or their highway. And obviously, if you're working within amongst of different types of people, everybody's going to have their own different opinion on different things. I think it's very crucial to go ahead and take feedback, to take into consideration what other people want, especially if your quarterback of the future is saying, hey, CeeDee Lamb is going to be my number 1 wide receiver. We also did get DeAndre Hopkins, which is a great piece, but it's going to make sure that DeAndre Hopkins does not get doubled. It makes sure that everybody's aware that every wide receiver we have out there is going to be crucial and dangerous and really going after that rack yards. And on top of that, not even considering that we have Drake back there, the ball hard and not going down at first contact, guys. There's just so many different things that I could go ahead and say, Steve Keim, if that's really your approach of not, taking what Kyler Murray has to say into consideration, I really have to say to you, maybe take a little step back here for a second and say, hey, we drafted Kyler Murray because we hired Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury really wanted Kyler Murray. And hey, it worked out. So far, our offense gotten so much better. We are leaps and bounds better than what we were with Josh Rosen and Steve Wilks. I think that you should really take into consideration that if Kyler Murray does want a great piece of weapon, whether it's an offensive lineman, if he's like, hey, this offensive line is not going to work out, this is what I want, can we get it done? Absolutely. You definitely need to see how the chips fall in the NFL draft, but we got to take into consideration that this man is our future quarterback of the future. Do what you got to do to make him happy. If he wants new jerseys, darn it, you get him new jerseys. If he wants a new piece, you get him a new piece. Make what you can from the situation that we have right now. Kyler Murray is the future of the Arizona Cardinals. There's no doubt in my mind that he's going to have a really great, spectacular season next year. I like what we're doing so far in this offseason. It could just be that much better if this NFL draft pans out. And I really, really want to have a great first round because we don't so far have a second round unless things change. But let's see how it all comes out, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. That's all I got for this episode. Pretty much to summarize, do not take what Steve Keim has to say, too personal. Take everything he says with a grain of salt because it's all smokescreen at this point. But we are going to find out 4 days away what the Arizona Cardinals are going to do. I'm super stoked, guys. All right, that's all I got. Thank you so much.